Tennessee Williams was born in Columbus, Mississippi, in 1914. After attending several colleges without any particular success, he graduated in 1938. He made his debut in 1940 with Battle of Angels, a work that was not appreciated by the public and critics. After this unfortunate debut, in 1943, he signed a contract as a playwright. The work that led him to fame was The Glass Menagerie in 1944, that had a huge and immediate success. The great success of his next play, A Streetcar Named Desire, in 1947, secured his reputation as a great playwright. Nowadays, it is still performed all over the world. Later, he wrote other plays that had a fair success, but that could not equal the success of the previous ones. This led the author to live a difficult relationship with creative writing, with the public, and with critics. He returned to success only in 1955 with Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. The works written in the last 2 decades of his life showed the decline of his creativity. For this reason, he fell victim to strong depression. He died in New York on February 25th in 1983. The setting of A Streetcar Named Desire dies the viewer in the American post-war society. We are in New Orleans in the 40s. Blanche Dubois, an alcoholic and nymphomaniac woman, visits her sister Stella, now married to Stanley Kowalski. Stella is about to have a child. During her stay at her sister's house, among disagreements with her brother-in-law and painful memories of her past, Blanche suffered psychological and physical violence that caused her a nervous breakdown, with an unexpected and moving ending. Although the script for the film was written by Williams himself, it has some significant differences. In fact, the main themes of the drama are sex, both physical and psychological violence, as well as homosexuality. These conflicting themes forced Williams to change the nature of the work in some of its essential parts, in order to avoid censorship due to the closed mentality of that time. The theme of homosexuality that was so dear to the author, Williams himself was in fact homosexual, had been censored. In the play, the story and actions of Blanche's husband, Alan Gray, focus on this theme, leading the reader to reflect on the psychological conditions that homosexuals faced at the time. In the movie, this topic is not mentioned at all. Here, in fact, Alan is described as a totally different person compared to the one represented in the play. But the most significant change is the one made at the end of the piece. The drama ends with the character of Stella, who, sad and upset, is forced to make a decision, but the reader cannot understand what it is, and this leaves the viewer an open final. The film has a totally different conclusion. Here Stella cries frustrated, but when she has to make her decision, she will choose the opposite option to the one the author suggests in the original drama, removing the intriguing charm of the final, which characterizes the work itself. Williams himself defined the movie as a wonderful performance in a great film, only partly ruined by the Hollywood final. Despite these changes, it is also true that the sexual tension presented in the drama was mentioned in the film, as well as Stella's obvious physical and emotional submission to her husband, and the scenes of violence. Only a few scenes were cut at the request of the censors. It was mainly shots and sentences that emphasized a strong sexual tension. Despite these differences changed the nature of the work, the film was appreciated around the world. It received 12 Oscars nominations and it won 4 awards. The movie was also included in the 45th place of a list of 100 American films of all time by the American Film Institute. From the very first setup, this work has been the subject of a debate on its themes, including, in addition to those mentioned above, sexual scandals, pedophilia, and mental disorders, which have never been so clear before. Passion and madness coexist through a text that is too explicit for censorship of a big screen, which had to make it socially acceptable. The text was undoubtedly at the forefront. It anticipated the women's emancipation and the sexual revolution of the 1960s. A performance defined by some as scandalous, but at the same time audacious and innovative. The apparently strong characters hide a fragility typical of a human being, in which anyone who watches the film or reads the dramaturgy can find himself. This is what makes the work uncomfortable and outrageous, the idea that everyone can have, in the deep of their soul, something in common with the characters of this drama, apparently far away and different from the reality that surrounds us. For these reasons, although the two versions, the cinematographic and the theatrical, are not entirely in line, I would recommend to read the work, that is not characterized by a complex writing and therefore represents a light and short reading, and also to watch the film, that, both for the masterful performances of the cast and for the excellent direction, can move the viewer, making people aware on issues that are still relevant today.